Ashley Webster, Elizabeth McDonald, Brian Brenberg, Andy Posner, and Scott Martin. Now, I want to talk resilience, because if ever I saw resilience, I'm seeing it right now. With all that's going on, the Dow has opened up 47 points, and we're about, 200 points from an all-time high. Let's go round the block. First of all, to you, Scott Martin, explain, please, the resilience of the market.
Typical market situation here, Stuart, that we've seen really since the Trump election, which has been any fraud or any idea of a sell-off was quickly met by buying from investors. And I think Brenberg is right here. It's the fact that we're seeing positivity with respect to the relief efforts in Houston. It's also, I think, a boon from the tax speech that we got from Donald Trump yesterday with respect to maybe finally getting something through Congress this fall. And the fact that the economy, we've got a jobs report tomorrow, the fact that the economy is going to post its best quarters of growth going forward that we've seen since the Trump election. There's a lot of optimism out there that things are finally starting to come around on the promises that Trump gave us almost a year ago.
Andy Posner, a resilient market. Why?
Well, I think, number one, the devastation in Houston has been terrible on a personal basis, and some of it people will never recover from. But on a business basis, we will recover in Houston. And the current economic news that's coming out, the 3% GDP, ADP's numbers on employment, they expected 187, they got 237,000 jobs. And just this morning, the personal income numbers came up. They were up 0.4% as opposed to 0.3 because wages and salaries are up. So the economic news is good. What's happening in Houston economically is temporary, although the personal impact will be long-term. But the economy will come back. Houston will come back. The economic news is good. I'm a little worried about third quarter GDP. I think that whatever it would have been without Houston, it's going to be lower. But even with that being factored in, I think people see this as an opportunity and a time when the economy is improving under President Trump.
I think we can sum it up. We've got a pretty strong economy underlying it all, and it is a strengthening economy both here and all the way around the world. Profits are strong, despite North Korea, despite Harvey. Ash?
And every time we have these kind of events and market does knee-jerk react down, it's a buying opportunity. We've yet to see the big 5% drop, and that hasn't been the case so far.
That's right. It has been a buying opportunity.
Right. Yes. Well, to Ash's point, he's right. The last time he saw a 5% downturn was Brexit last year. Wow. So Texas is showing how to deal with a swamp of a flood. D.C. needs to get over its own swamp and get those tax cuts done. Now, when Nancy Pelosi and Charles Schumer sits down with President Trump next week, you know what? They've got to knock it off. Because Jamie Dimon is saying the way to get growth back in this economy and to help people in Texas with jobs, do those tax cuts.
On the left-hand side of your screen, 4 wagging tails as we speak. That's a heartwarming story. Love to see pets rescued in these dire circumstances. Those the pets there.
How many dogs are in that house? That's what I want to know.
I think they come from different houses. I think they went down the street and picked them all up.
Okay.
I mean, on the right-hand side of your screen, you've got the stock market rallying. The left-hand side of your screen, you've
dogs
got
are wagging their tails.
Dogs and lollipops.
I'm trying to see
baseball.
Good stuff in adversity, and I think we've got it right there. Got to tell you about the price of gasoline, because, and you can say this is a negative if you like, but the price of gas is going up. Overnight, we had gas go up another 4 cents. The national average is now $2.44. And the futures market for gasoline, the wholesale price of gasoline, that's gone up another, I think, 4 cents to about it doesn't matter about the level, but the bottom line is you've got more gas prices still to come. Look at that. 16 cents up. That's the future price of gasoline at the wholesale level. Look at that. Yeah,
the Colonial pipeline is shut down.
That's what did that.
Yeah.
All right. This is not a negative for the stock market or for the economy, is it?
I think it washes for the stock market. You'll see this through September, but it's not going to be something that moves markets.
But it's one financial impact on all of us from Harvey.
Yeah.
You know what's fascinating is we saw oil move lower yesterday. You'd say why? Because they can produce it just fine right now, but there's going to be a problem of where do you store it if you can't refine it? So you're going to be swimming in it again. That's why oil prices have gone down.
We have a report that news conference around the chemical plant in Harris County, Texas,
Crosby.
that may occur fairly soon. When we get it, you'll hear it, because that's a serious situation that is developing as we speak. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 71 points, 21,962. That's where we are. Price of gold pretty flat, just above $1,300 an ounce. Gas prices, as you see on your screen, are spiking as we speak. I want to talk about, let me see, we've got some individual companies and corporations in the news. What have I got here? Apple. What's the story on Apple, please? You got that? The stock keeps, yeah, that's the point.
Very good.
Well, what's the story?
Keeps going up.
The stock keeps going up. That's the story.
Surprise, surprise.
The bottom line is, you've got September the 12th is when they're going to come out with the new iPhone.
Yeah.
And as that date approaches, the stock of Apple just keeps on going
And will
up.
it be a trillion market cap?
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
story
yes.
about Apple.
Yes, hold on a second. Let me press my little button here. If I can do, I haven't got time, but I'll
You
try.
turned it on?
Hold on. 840.
It's upside down.
It's not upside down. Apple, current market value, $846 billion.
The stock just has to pop $30 a share to hit that 1 trillion mark.
Okay. That is Jeff Flock's shot. He's not in the shot. He's standing by the camera. You're looking at yet another rescue, and this is Houston. Okay, now the storm has moved on from Houston, but in some parts, the flood waters are still rising.
Yeah.
That's right, Ash, they are. So you've still got this need for the Cajun Navy, who will be appearing on this program later, and you've still got rescue boats just riding down the street. Look at that.
Now the question is, how long will it take for the floodwaters to recede?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good point. Okay. The news conference, I believe, is about to begin. We might just be those people was saying we're here to help our fellow
That last
Americans.
comment, it's just designed, I'm just designed to, that's what I do.
That's what they say about first responders. They're born into it.
Yeah.
They're not created, they're born in. I mean, they are created, they're born into it.
I just think it's wonderful. In devastation like this, those guys can put a smile on our faces.
Yes.
The rescued pets, the rescued people in dire circumstances. That's America at its best. Hey, Scott Martin, I don't know where you are. Are you in Chicago? Chime in, please. America at its best.
I'll tell you, Stuart, we've actually sent help down from Chicago already earlier this week, and it's been a great response. You know, I think this is one of these moments where you get the reinstilled faith in the United States people in general, because you know, we've seen so many things on the news and in the media where everybody seems so divided. There seems to be so much anger over political views and socioeconomic situations, but seeing the reaction from everybody around the country and their contribution to the recovery here has really been really reinstilling the faith that we have in humanity, and the fact that I think we can come together going forward under the Trump presidency, get the economy going, and move forward in the future as we need to do as Americans.
Andy Posner, what strikes me is not so much the money that's being devoted. I'm sorry, Andy Posner had to leave us right there. No, look, what strikes me is it's not so much the money that's being donated. We can all write a check.
Sure.
The point is those are people who've actually gone there, physically gone there and helped. I love that.
You know, and there seems to be so much scope for voluntary action here. Sometimes you think about bureaucracy getting in the way of people moving into a situation.
Sure.
That doesn't appear to be the case here. Something about how they're managing this is leaving a lot of room for people to move in places where they can help, and only they know how to help.
So as we continue talking, when you see guys like this and women stepping up, it's wet, it's cold, it's dangerous, they're getting on the stick and doing it. Doesn't that say to Congress, get on the stick and get the money out the door?
Doesn't it exactly right, Liz?
Yeah,
Stop fighting.
Right.
Quit fighting. Quit being in that stupid D.C. swamp
Yeah,
when you see how people are reacting there.
What is the swamp's contribution to what we're seeing, this rescue effort in Houston?
They're probably
and South
holding
Texas?
a committee meeting about it, I can tell you that.
Right.
Sarcasm is a low form of wit. You're right.
Yes.
Right. One thing that troubled me from this report from Jeff Flock is that water stays around until October. It is now August the 31st. Can you imagine
That's at
all the
least
way through
another
till
month.
October?
Or more.
What does that do to property, whether
getting
it's a
cold.
business or a
Wow.
house?
And, you know, this is really going to hurt small business owners in that area. Bigger companies, they can diversify the risk, but the small businesses there, they're not insured. They don't have business interruption insurance. You're going to see high percentages of small businesses never open their doors again in these areas, especially if the water hangs around.
Isn't it an argument in favour of tax cuts, in favour of the growth plan, because you really, really need it now with this dire circumstance in South Texas?
That's what Jamie Dimon just said in a new opinion piece. He said we need it now.
We need it now.
He said other countries around the world are doing it. We need to get on the stick.
Larry Rothman on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. What do you have for me?